Hello, hello. What's up, everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka ReviewKingMB, and I am here continuing to review the Resident Evil series with Resident Evil Apocalypse. This is a 2004 film that is indeed the sequel to Resident Evil. It is not directed by Paul W.S. Anderson because he was busy doing the Alien vs. Predator movie. He did have time to write this movie, though. It is directed by Alexander Witt. And the plot is, we see it's pretty much right after the events of the first film where the Umbrella Corporation, what's left of them, have gone back down to the hive to see what happened, what was going on there. And of course, being the idiots that they are, they let out the zombie apocalypse, the virus, the zombies, everything. It's chaos, it's the apocalypse. Alice, played by Milla Jovovich, is out there. She finds this group of survivors and she's protecting them, and as they're doing that, they try to save this little girl. This little girl who's the daughter of Dr. Ashford, who is the creator of this T-virus. And they're trying to save her because they need him to get them a way out of the city as this virus is taking over. Now, what I think of Resident Evil Apocalypse is, you know, there was a time where, I don't know, there was a good year or so where I was obsessed with the Resident Evil films, where I thought they were some of the coolest movies ever. I was a teenager and I was totally into it, but now I've rewatched these movies like every time a new Resident Evil comes out, so I've rewatched them a lot. And this movie, almost more so than all of them, gets worse and worse every time I watch it. I don't hate the movie. I still think it's okay, but I'm more so latching on to things that I think are cool or that I like about the movie versus the movie overall. Milla Jovovich as Alice, I do still like. She's a badass. She's even more of a badass than she was before because she's experienced now. And she's been through a lot. She's been experimented on by the Umbrella Corporation, and they've injected her with the virus. She's mutated and bonded with the virus and become this super-powered being of sorts. The only thing that you could say is a negative about the Alice character, and I think this is why hardcore video game fans, people who love the Resident Evil games, hate Alice as a character, is because she's kind of too much of a badass, in the sense that we get introduced in this movie to Jill Valentine, who is played by Sienna Gilroy, and she plays Jill Valentine kind of perfectly. She looks the part, she has the outfit, she is a badass in it of herself. Her introduction scene is badass, and it's great for her. But then there's a moment where they're in the church and Jill Valentine's trying to protect the group that she's with, and then a bunch of lickers come in. CGI lickers, by the way. They don't look as good as the first film, but okay, they're here. And they're cornered off. They're about to get killed. And before Jill can do anything, Alice shows up riding through the window in a motorcycle, kills them all like nothing. And then there's several scenes throughout the movie where, like, Jill Valentine's trying to protect the little girl. She throws a set of matches at zombie dogs to try to kill them, but the match lights out, and then Alice has to come in with a cigarette to actually ignite the fire herself. So it's like Jill couldn't even do that right. Here's Alice to save the day. There's so many moments like that where they don't give Jill Valentine enough moments, enough badass moments. It's like, I get it, Alice is the main character and I'm fine with that, but you need to make Jill seem just as important or just as cool, not just win the background. One of the survivors that Jill Valentine finds and she's keeping track of, there's a few people, but this character, Terry Morales, played by Sandrine Holt, not a huge character, not a whole lot to her, but I like this actress, and I like the fact that she has this thing. She wants to be a reporter. She's on the news. She's a weather girl. But she has a camera, and she's recording things. She wants to record the truth. The fact that the facility won't let them leave the city. And she wants to document this, and I feel like it was a little bit of a missed opportunity. They could have spent more time with maybe her camera, maybe just one cool scene of found footage in her camera's point of view, not the whole movie of course, but one moment would have been nice. And her death, spoiler alert, I know, I already spoiled it, but her death scene is pretty gnarly, where she's looking for the guy's daughter in this building, and she finds a bunch of zombie kids, and they all eat her alive. Such a brutal way to go. We meet some new characters like Carlos, played by Odette Fair. And I like Carlos. I do. He's one of these SWAT guys who come in and he's trying to save as many people left in the city as he can. And he has his SWAT team with him, and he's trying to protect and help one of his guys that got bit. He's just a likable guy. Another one of the SWAT guys that really, yet again, gets wasted, Nikolai, played by Zach Ward. I like this actor. I've seen him pop up in things, especially around this time. This movie, he has one cool scene where he saves Jill Valentine, because Jill, of course, needs the saving constantly, right? But he gets a cool scene. He introduces himself to her. There might be some attraction there, but then no. Zombie dogs eat his ass alive, and nobody helps him. I'm like, that what? There's a couple moments where certain characters that I thought they could have done more with. I mentioned Dr. Ashford, who is the guy that created the T-virus, and he created it because of his daughter, who was handicapped, and he made this to sort of rebuild, regrow her dead tissues in her cells, and it's interesting just to see him do that for his daughter. The actor is Jared Harris. It's almost surprising to see him in such a small part. I mean, his character's big, but they don't do a whole lot with him, especially towards the end. It's like, wow, you kind of wasted this actor in a lot of ways. Now, his daughter, Angela, is played by Sophie Vavaseer, and she's a little girl here. She has the British accent, and she has this whole thing about having the virus, and it's not mutating her. She's not a zombie, but it's helping her not be sick. And I looked up the cast of this movie to do this review, and this actress in particular, this little girl, is now grown up. She's now like 24, so hopefully it doesn't sound as creepy as what I'm about to say, but she's hot as hell now. And it's weird because you watch her in this movie and she's so young and it's so weird, but then you see her now and she's smoking hot, and it's like, what am I saying? What am I doing? All right, let's move on. One scene where, look, a lot of this story doesn't hold up as well as I thought, but I always thought, even when I first saw this, that the scene where the group is talking and they're in a cemetery and zombies start coming out from the graves and attacking them, it's a cool image, it's a cool scene, just like standalone, but in context of this whole series, it doesn't make any fucking sense. Why are dead bodies that were already dead, that died from other natural causes supposedly, why are they rising from the graves and back as zombies? This whole concept is a virus that's infecting alive people, and they die to become zombies. For some reason, that scene kind of pisses me off, even though it looks cool. Mike Epps as LJ. And Mike Epps, some movies he might be funny and tolerable, and you can go along with his character, but in this movie, it's so out of place. It's so random as fuck to put him in this movie. I don't know who thought it was a good idea. Maybe they thought, hey, we need a comic relief here. We need somebody to be fun and spice things up, not be so serious. But this isn't the way to go. You don't have a guy like Mike Epps come in here and be so cheesy and be so stereotypical, and just really every scene he's in brings this film to a screeching halt. I don't laugh at any of his scenes. There's even one moment where he's driving his car, he looks out his window and he sees a bunch of women, naked strippers, and he crashes. He gets out of the car to see that they're zombies, and then he just runs away. Like, the editing isn't even good for that scene, and there's nothing funny about it. Why is this character, why is he in this movie? The only really awesome thing, and still holds up rewatching it now, about this film is Nemesis. Nemesis is this big, huge, hulking-like figure. He looks scary as fuck. It's a guy in a practical costume, so I think it looks great. I love the fact that he's not some big CGI thing, which is what they would have done if this movie was made more recently. And I love the design of him. It looks exactly like Nemesis from the video games. And he has these Terminator-like qualities when he's assessing a situation, assessing how many people are alive. Kills everybody with a big, huge machine gun. Like, it's fucking badass. And the fight scenes that he has with Alice is even more badass. The two of them going at it. Two specially skilled creatures almost going at it. It's really great. You could argue that maybe some people don't like the backstory change that they make with this character, because you find out that he's Matt, Eric Mabius, from the first movie when he was taken by Umbrella, and they show flashes of him being experimented on and I guess being turned into Nemesis. But I'm okay with it. It's a way to bridge the gap and connect the stories. I kind of wish they did more with the Matt character, but I guess this is what they did with him. One of the main villains, Major Kane, is played by Thomas Kretschmann, and I've seen this actor in a couple things, most recently in Avengers Age of Ultron. But he's fine in the film. I mostly get behind Ian Glenn as Dr. Isaacs, who's another guy that's in the background you don't see a whole lot of until the very, very end of the movie, where you find out that he's really at the head of Umbrella, or what's left of it, and he takes Alice's body and like reprograms her and almost turns her into I don't know if she's a cyborg now, but there's some weird stuff going on. I think they want to go into a big twist ending like the first movie had to get you excited for another one. And I'm not saying that I wasn't looking forward to what they were setting up, but it's so different, it's so left field. I might want to give the movie props for that, for going in a different direction, but sometimes Paul W.S. Anderson, you could tell he wrote this film, you could tell that it just loses its shit by the end of it and goes off the rails, and you don't really know what you're watching almost. Alice having telekinesis, like, it's so weird, but overall, the film is okay. There's still some good action. There's still some good special effects and blood and gore and zombies and whatnot, creatures. I just don't think it's a great film. It is one of the weakest Resident Evil movies in the franchise. So guys, let me know in the comments below. Do you like Resident Evil Apocalypse? Do you like it because it goes bigger and grander? Or do you agree with me that the first movie is definitely better? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later! Please won't you save my desires on fire. Sometimes you need a little peace at home. I'm tired, so wired. Come follow me and I can lead you. Come follow me and take a trip.